my name is Alex Dakota. I'm a model based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I have decided to start my first vlog. So this will be my first video. I really wanted to introduce myself, kind of tell y'all what I do, talk about curve modeling and everything that comes with it. And I figured this would be a really good way to share with you guys. So here we go. I started modeling when I was 16 years old. Most people don't know, but my grandma and my mom were both models. That wasn't the reason I wanted to start modeling. They had mentioned it to me when I was younger, and I was always kind of like, ew, I was kind of a tomboy. I really like, being outside. I still do, but when I was 16, for some reason, the urge just like came over me, like, I want to model, this is what I'm gonna do. So I went for it, and I started submitting to agencies in Atlanta. I actually live in Columbus, Georgia, but it's only like an hour and a half south. So I started submitting, and I found my mother agency, Ursula Wiedemann Models. They are absolutely amazing. I sent Ursula some pictures of myself, and she told me to come in. She liked my look, and she wanted to take some measurements and kind of talk to me a little bit. So me and my mom drove up. It was awesome. I feel really lucky that I found Ursula herself, and she took interest in me because she has really played a huge part in my life these past years. So I'm really happy I found her. As most of you may know, if you follow me on Instagram, if you have me as a friend on Facebook, or if you just know me in person, you know that I am actually a curve model now. But when I first got signed, I was on the regular board, which meant measurement requirements. And I really wanted this video to be about me transitioning from the regular board to the curve board because it has changed my life in a really big way, and I feel like it's something really important in the modeling industry right now, so I really wanted to share my story with y'all. When you're on the regular board, as I was when I was 16, and I stayed there for probably like a year and a half, maybe a little longer, but you have measurement requirements that your body has to be. They measure your bust, your waist, and your hips. And basically, you have to have these certain measurements so that you'll fit into clothes and book jobs. Well, I struggled with my measurements. When I first got signed and I met Ursula, my hips were 38 inches. And in the modeling industry, a really good hip measurement is 34. It's like pretty sought after. And when I say 34 inches, most people might be like, that's not bad or whatever. And I think I thought that too at first. But being a person with naturally wide hips, I struggled. I would work out, I ate healthy, everything like that, but the measurements still weren't good enough. And my bust and my waist really were never a problem. I got those down fairly quickly to what they needed to be, but my hip measurements were way too big. So what I would do, I would diet and exercise. Mind you, I was still in high school when I did this, and when I say still in high school, I was actually like at a desk in high school, because after a little while of modeling, I did switch to online school to finish out my year. But when I was still in high school and I was still on the regular board, I would work out 3 times a day. And if you think about it, being a high school student, working out 3 times a day and handling school and just life, trying to figure out life in general for a 16-year-old, it was a lot. And it really did weigh on me. And I think everybody that knew me at that time in my life could tell I was really stressed out most of the time. And eating was a big struggle for me. I never developed an eating disorder or anything like that, but I really think it weighed on my mental health because I would literally obsess about what I was gonna eat during the day. I would wake up and I would think, what am I gonna eat for breakfast? What am I gonna eat for lunch, dinner, and that's not a bad thing, Planning out stuff isn't bad or anything like that, but when you become like obsessed with what you're gonna eat, constantly thinking about it, getting stressed out, that's not good. And I really think like going out to dinner or going out to lunch or whatever, that was the worst for me, because I thought like, what if everyone wants to go to Chick-fil-A, and I'm stressing out because, you know, I really want to eat, but I really shouldn't here. It was really difficult, and it really weighed on me during that time in my life. Luckily, I have a really good mother agency, and Ursula was never like mean to me or anything like that when it came to my measurements, but she did push me to get the right hip measurements, because obviously, you know, me and her, we both want me to work, and it was really hard at the time because I didn't have the correct measurements, so I honestly was not booking jobs. When I would go to castings and stuff, I'd really down myself every time because I was too big for the clothes, and leaving and knowing like I'm definitely not getting that job, it was just really hard on me. And I think because I was younger, like I blamed myself even more for it, and it made me really feel like I wasn't good enough. As I said, Ursula was amazing and really supportive, and at one time I really did get my measurements, my hip measurements down pretty good. They were at like a 37, which still isn't great. You know, they really should have been at like a 36 at least. But I did drop, you know, some weight, got a little bit of muscle. Like I said, I'm so grateful for my agency because I have heard horror stories about other agencies like in New York and stuff where literally the agents will tell these models to starve themselves. And it's extremely sad because, in my opinion, we should not risk like our health to fit into a dress. We really shouldn't. And some people are born smaller than others. They're born with smaller hips, you know, that's just the way their body is, and that's great. That's great for those girls. But for girls like me, when that's not the case, it becomes a really unhealthy lifestyle. So late one fall, it was the fall after I got signed, I got my measurements down fairly okay, and I went to a casting for a showroom. And it was a showroom for prom dresses. So basically what that means is you're like a living mannequin basically. You wear the dresses and you walk around the showroom, and clients that might want to purchase the dresses for their stores, you know, look at you, or they'll ask you to try on a certain dress so they can see it. Well, I went to a casting for a showroom, and I was slightly too big for these dresses. But me and the person that was casting for it really hit it off, and we clicked, and she told me, you know, if you just lose a few pounds, I'll have you come and work the showroom. So I was like, yeah, of course I'll do that. So over the next month, I think I dropped maybe like 5 or 8 pounds, which made me fit in these dresses. So I believe I worked the showroom for 3 or 4 days. This was the skinniest I have ever been. When I worked this showroom, I had never been any skinnier than I was then. I was probably eating like 1,000 calories a day, which, if you think about it, being young, you know, working out 3 times a day, that's really not healthy, and I didn't have any energy at all. So I was working these showrooms, and I'm gonna show y'all before and after picture of when I worked the showrooms and me as of 2 days ago. Now, this picture, me in the red dress, was the showroom. I'm obviously a lot smaller than I am now. Now, these showroom dresses are a size 6. And looking at that picture now, I feel like I look a lot smaller. I don't know why. Probably because I'm curvy now. But there are showrooms that have like size 0 to 2 dresses, which I would have never fit in personally. Like, you know, I just had wide hips. But that day, I was feeling pretty good about myself this day, and I used to down myself a lot, but I was feeling pretty good, pretty confident, because I fit into these dresses. I thought I fit into these dresses, and I remember walking around the showroom, and a client asked me to come over so that they could look at the dress, and they looked at me and told me I was fat. And you know, at the time, when you're standing in front of a client, obviously you just have to like grin and bear it, which I did. And I was even fine after that, but I think later on in the day, it really weighed on me. I was like, wait, they just called me fat. And I remember when I was a regular model, I think I got called fat like a grand total of 3 times. And thinking about it now, first of all, don't ever call anyone fat and make them feel bad about themselves, ever. But you know, I see this girl in the photo, and it just makes me really sad that I let that get to me. And I look at this other photo of me in my gray dress as of 2 days ago, and it just makes me happy because I know I can see it because of what I've been through, but I just look healthier. Even though I'm not smiling, I can tell I'm happier. And I think the people that love me and the people that are around me really see that too. So, when I was doing this type of modeling, I really struggled with myself. I would look in the mirror and I never felt good enough. It didn't matter how skinny I was. It didn't matter that I was like developing muscles. I just felt like I was never good enough. And like I said, you know, this doesn't work for everyone, and it does work for some people, and that's fantastic. If you can do it in a healthy way where you're mentally, you know, happy, that's awesome. But for me, it was different. So after a while of realizing that I wasn't happy, and I finally realized that this wasn't the path I wanted to go down, I went to my agency and I talked to my agent about switching to the curve board. My agent sat down with me and we discussed it. You know, she let me know everything that comes along with being a curve model. Obviously, my measurements had to be a little bigger because there are certain measurements you have to be a curve model too, but however, in the curve modeling world, the measurements range a lot more than they do, you know, in the regular modeling measurements. So she agreed. We both thought this was like going to be the best thing possible for me, and I started eating regular again. I still eat fairly healthy. I obviously like still eat Chick-fil-A and stuff, but I still eat fairly healthy just because it makes me feel better, because I will feel as sick as a dog if I eat junk food all day. So I still eat healthy and I work out still. I just don't do like any cardio or anything. I mostly do weights and stuff like that. But as I started like transitioning to being a curve model, I just noticed how much happier I was. I wasn't stressed out all the time. You know, when Ursula would ask me to come in for measurements, I wasn't freaking out, because that was one thing I used to freak out about. If I got an email saying, you know, girls come in for measurements, I would like almost pass out on the floor. It was so nerve-wracking. My first casting as a curve model really shocked me in a good way. I got an email from my agency saying they were having this little clothing company based out of Atlanta come into the agency to cast some of us curve girls. And in the email, I remember it said, make sure you eat a full lunch. And I was like, heck yeah, that's amazing. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. When I got to the casting and I went in, introduced myself, and tried on the clothes, there was a whole table with like snacks and stuff. And when I was doing the other board, I was used to, if I had a casting, I would not eat, because, you know, I wouldn't want anything to prevent me from fitting into the clothes. So I walk in, there's a whole table of food, and I guess I just kind of figured it was for the clients because I was so used to, you know, being on the regular board. But I left, and all of a sudden I get a text from my agent. She's like, Alex, if you're still here, come eat. And I was actually gone by that time. But I just thought this is the coolest thing ever, and it really made me excited to be a curve model. Obviously, I did have to redo my portfolio because all the pictures I had, you know, I looked very thin in. So my agent recommended me going to New York to shoot with a photographer named Nicole. Nicole is absolutely amazing. She is actually a curve model herself, so she totally gets it. So she basically redid my portfolio for me, and I love the pictures. Ursula loved the pictures, and Nicole was she's such a nice person, and she's great to be around. She really makes you feel comfortable, so I'm really glad I did that. Not long after getting my pictures back and putting them in my portfolio, I was actually on vacation, and I got a text from Ursula saying, congratulations, Dorothy Combs Models in Miami wants to sign you. And I absolutely freaked out because I already knew who Dorothy was. She's a great agency in Miami. She's just curve models, and some of Ursula's other Curve girls had already signed with her, and I've heard great things. So I was absolutely ecstatic, and I am signed with them also now, which is amazing. The jobs I work now as a Curve model, you know, for me, the environment and the feeling is completely different than it used to be. When I would go into a casting or something, when I was on the other board, I would always be freaked out that I would not fit into the clothing, and I would stress all day and just make myself sick. So now when I, you know, book a job and I go, it's just, I'm just happy to be there, and it's a good day, and I absolutely love what I do. I love to model. When I'm at a job, it doesn't feel like work because it's just what I love to do, and I think that's the best thing you can find in your life, is finding something you love so you feel like you never work a day in your life. When I look back to who I was, you know, a year and a half ago compared to who I am now, it makes me so extremely happy and grateful that I could make this change and that I did it, because I was always stressed. I wasn't truly happy with myself, and now things are so much different for me, and it really like affects every part of my life. I'm a happier person. I'm not as stressed anymore, and I'm just really thankful for this. I do have one more before and after picture for y'all I really wanted to share. Now, me in this dark gray tank top is when I first started wanting to become a model, and this was one of the pictures I would send out to agencies. When I look at this picture now, I see a really unhappy girl. In my opinion, I don't look healthy. I look very drawn. I feel like you can just see it in my face that I'm unhappy with my life. And when I look at this picture I took a few days ago, I actually have on the same top in this picture, but I see a very healthy, happy person. And just comparing these right now makes me feel so thankful for where I am in my life, and I'm really glad I got to share this with y'all. I feel like we all really need to be body positive, no matter if you're a size 2, if you're a size 16, it doesn't matter. We all need to empower each other, be nice to each other, and remember what you say really does or can affect somebody. Always be nice with your words. It's nice to be nice, and I really feel like the fashion industry is changing, and I am so excited to be a part of it. I'm really happy I got to share my story with y'all. I hope it gives you a little bit different perspective of the modeling industry. I can't wait to post again. I'll probably make a video of one of my photo shoots, me traveling up to Atlanta, something like that. I'm also going to California next month to see my brother and sister, so there will definitely be a video about that. Bye guys, thanks.